Well, Brenton, welcome to episode 5 of the CEO Under 30 podcast, man. It's a pleasure to have you. For those who don't know Brenton Saylor, he is the owner, founder of Mile High Minute, grown Mile High Minute to, over 100K, around 100K followers across all platforms. He's interviewed artists such as Kevin Gates, just really put on for Denver and the city and helping grow the music industry out here, create awareness for young artists. Man, I'm excited to hear about your business and learn about all the cool things you've done.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. I appreciate it. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you kind of how it all started. Like where were you before Mile High Minute and what were the things you were doing before?
Well, before Mile High Minute, as you know, I was like reselling vintage clothes and stuff like that. And then, going to school, just the average kid, you know what I'm saying? But then when I was reselling those clothes, a lot of times I would sell clothes to like local artists and stuff like that. And I went to a show. How it really started is I went to a show in Boulder, and it was for some kids we went to high school with. And I heard this artist, and it was catchy. I was like, oh, okay. Like, we have like rappers out here. Because growing up, I always listened to, New York, LA, all the mainstream cities. So I was like, oh, okay, like we got like dope hip hop artists out here. And so that was like the first time I listened to, or like the idea almost kind of sparked in the brain of like, okay, we got dope artists. Now, at that time, I was already watching other big platforms in the hip hop industry, Say Cheese, No Jumper, Vlad TV, Breakfast Club, you name it.
Yeah.
And then, so I started to get curious. I'm on YouTube trying to find like interviews with Denver hip hop artists, and I couldn't find it at first, Later on down the line, I did find some, but there was just no consistent real hip hop media page in Denver and Colorado. So it was like, boom, problem solved right there. Like, obviously it didn't happen overnight, but like in my head, I'm like, okay, that's a problem that needs to be solved. So yeah, that's pretty much what led into Mile High Minute starting. Yeah.
So you just saw a gap you felt like kind of needed to be filled. Like there's all these media platforms for local artists and other states and other cities.
Exactly.
But Denver was kind of lacking something with a strong platform.
Right.
You said there was a couple people kind of doing it, but there was nothing really with the vision that you had for Mile High Minute.
Exactly. No one consistent. They might have done an interview here or there, but there was no like consistent platform really building and pushing. I mean, there was like, and at that time there was, you had your online publications and stuff like that, but there was no YouTube bloggers, Instagram bloggers, stuff like that. And that was kind of more my niche.
Before, you were saying you were selling clothes and stuff like that before.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this because, like, for me, I almost feel like I was kind of destined for entrepreneurship. Like, I just wasn't cut out for a 9-to-5 or a typical job.
Right.
Do you think that's the case for you and for, like, most entrepreneurs, that it's either something you're kind of destined for, like some people just aren't cut out for the day-to-day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been, quote unquote, hustling since I was like 13, 14, 15 years old. I mean, started with the clothes and then turned into Mile High. I started Mile High Minute and real estate at the same time. And then I kind of just focused on Mile High Minute because I started doing better. So yeah, I would say I was destined for it. And I mean, from a young age, like I just needed to get creative to figure out ways to make money, Yeah, so I would say definitely destined for it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you did that kind of out of like necessity? Like you felt like you had to change the trajectory of your life or your family's life?
For sure. I mean, I love my parents, you know what I'm saying? They've done a lot for me, but from a young age, like my mom would always be at work And a lot of times she was kind of the only one in the household. So she would be at work and, you know, it wasn't the best paying job, but she took care of it. She kept a roof over our head. And at that time, I'm like, man, like, she could give us what she could, you know, 10, $20 a week, every 2 weeks, something like that. But, you know, I'm like, man, I need some money. Like, I need to go get it. So I started going to thrift stores and just like flipping clothes. And it was a necessity because if not, I wouldn't have been able to like have some cool shoes or, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like get, you know, some of the cool stuff at that age, pay a phone bill, like, you know, yeah, I mean, it was definitely a necessity. And then it kind of, it's a blessing though. You know,
Yeah.
I definitely don't look at it in a negative way like I feel like I did in the past, but yeah, man.
Yeah. I think about that a lot for me too. I've talked about this before, but when I got my license, my mom took me straight from the DMV to apply for my first job. Like there was no lapse time. Like we didn't stop by the house. We didn't stop for nothing else. It was like, hey, you got your license. Now you got to pay for stuff. You
Right.
got car insurance. You got a car bill. You
Right.
got all these other things you want to pay for. And so I remember thinking when I was 16 and she did that, I remember like, damn, my mom's a terrorist. Like this sucks. Like none of my other friends have to do this. Like, why do I have to do this? But thinking back on all of that, I'm very grateful that I had to work, you know, hard at a young age. Because it taught me a couple things. One, it taught me that I don't want to work for anybody else. And so I learned that very quickly because I had to work for somebody else at a young age. And then, it just taught me how to work hard. And so, I think sometimes you need that, like that push to really create the individual that you are today.
Right. And it's dope. I think we both have we both had a similar push in our own creative, unique ways, which is dope to hear.
Yeah.
Like that.
So Mile High Minute, you saw the gap. Where did it how did you start it? What did the beginning foundation look like for building that business?
So I remember I still have the paper to this day, writing down the initial ideas. I was sitting in my room with a couple buddies, and you know, we're sitting there just kind of talking about the idea and jotting down names and stuff like that. And I don't know what it was, but Mile High Minute, the name just stuck out to me and it popped in my head, and it just kind of ran with it from there. So initially, you know, I thought I didn't have no camera or no, you know, it was just an idea. So used the resources around me. I had, you know, one buddy had a camera. This buddy was good at audio. And we all kind of just went to do our first interview with Young Fiji. It turned out to be audio only. It's still up there on YouTube. That was March of 2018. So that's kind of when I always say we started. Was that day when I did that interview. And then, or we did that interview. And then it was really slow at first. Like it was more kind of like a hobby, kind of fun. Like, oh, let's just go interview these artists and, you know, party, have fun, whatever, right? But as time went on, it just kind of stuck. Like people were watching it. People were gravitated toward it. Whether you liked it or you didn't, like people were gravitated towards it. And I just started taking it really serious, and I took it personal and I got passionate about it. And I've always been a hip hop fan and loved hip hop. I've always loved Denver and Colorado and there, but I've always been passionate about it, you know, and that was really the foundation, was really just the interviews at first, and then kind of posting the music on Instagram and stuff to help get the artist names out there. And that was really the foundation, I would say.
Yeah. I like how you said too, you know, you had to get resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of people won't start something because they feel like they can't start it.
Right.
Because they don't have the resources, or they don't have, like, I can't start a photography business because I don't have a camera.
Right.
I can't do this because I don't have that. And I,
Yeah.
it's just an excuse, truly. Like, you know, because if you're resourceful enough, you can start just about anything. You know, you don't have to have all the things you need to get started. you got a whole contact list in your phone. Somebody's got
Right.
what you need, or somebody can help you get started. It's really just that want and that drive.
Oh yeah. I mean, same thing with real estate, growing up, I think you think, "Oh, I just need to get all this money to buy this house." It's like, no, you can literally close deals and make money off real estate without owning any real estate.
Yeah,
It's literally just your drive.
for sure.
So yeah, it was the same thing with Mile High Minute. It was like I didn't have no it was literally an idea. That's all it was, and that's all how it started. And
Yeah.
and yeah, so
How do you think, uh, because at first you guys, now you have a brand. So like
right.
people want to work with you. People, now you're not reaching out to people as much. I'm assuming,
Right.
maybe bigger artists and stuff like that, you have to do more outreach for, but
Right.
people want to work with you. So you don't have to do that legwork anymore. But getting started, you didn't have that. You didn't
Right.
have that brand. You didn't have that name. How did you get artists and like local talent to kind of take you seriously at that time?
That's an awesome question because I feel like a lot of people think, oh, it's like, oh, this business was just handed to you, like you didn't have to work for. I feel like people kind of almost skip those steps in their mind or something. I think it's natural, but man, at first it was really just putting in the groundwork, boots on the ground. Like I'm contacting all these artists around the area. Hey, let's do an interview. Let's do an interview. No real money. I mean, working jobs and stuff. Obviously, you're just kind of using money from that to supplement the business and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just asking artists, let's do an interview. I'm posting the music, pretty much just doing a bunch of free work. To be honest, like just providing value. Like, hey, I can help get your story out there or whatever. And that's kind of how it started. And then it kind of transitioned into artists more coming to us probably after probably just 2-3 years of being consistent and not really making money off of it and people starting to take us more serious. It's interesting. That's an interesting question because I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, I mean it's a healthy balance now of like us reaching out to major artists and trying to get work done, and even major artists coming out here and reaching out to us to work. Like Kevin Gates, his manager reached out to us, and that was like a crazy blessing. But yeah, I mean, just working hard. I mean, that's the only way to it, really. I mean, eventually people start taking us serious once you get those big names and once they see you're serious and they could tell you're not just some, oh, I'm gonna do a little bit of two interviews and then give up or move on to the next thing, which isn't necessarily bad, but once they seen like, okay, we've been doing this for a couple years, we're consistent, we're serious, then it was like the shift started to happen, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you believe in the term like overnight success or get rich quick?
No. I mean, no, I don't. Like those things can happen, I suppose, but even the moments where I've had like overnight, like I guess
With Kevin Gates, for
yeah,
example. Yeah.
you could say that was kind of overnight in a way of like, yeah, one, manager reached out to us. I showed up at Red Rocks, did the interview, and then boom, a lot of views, right? But it was all the work for the years that led into that opportunity. If we didn't work for all these years and build up and know the strategies, that wouldn't have happened, overnight, I suppose. So yeah, no, I don't believe in overnight success. I mean, I think that's crazy. Maybe you can get lucky and hit the lottery, but
Yeah.
for the most part, 99% entrepreneurs are not overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people see success quick, or like, I don't know, see it kind of blow up, quote unquote, overnight, but
Right.
they don't get to see the years and years. For you, you've been working on this for a long time now.
Right.
They don't get to see all the struggle, all the, sleepless nights, or you worrying
Right.
about, how you're going to pay your bills or whatever the case
Right.
is. They don't get to see all that. They get to see, hey, Kevin Gates hit me up,
Yeah.
and now I got to go to Red Rocks and then interview him. But
Right.
but they didn't see all the work that led up to that moment. And so, yeah, I don't believe
Right.
in overnight success.
Right.
I believe if you show up consistently enough, you'll get lucky. You'll get that phone call. But if you're not showing up, you're not gonna get that opportunity. So what was that moment like? Talk me through that, because seems like that was a huge pivotal point for Mile High Minute. Like, you had a major artist at the time and still, you know, a recognizable name
Right.
call you up and say, "Hey, I want to do an interview with you guys."
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk to me. Like, what was going through your head?
It's crazy. That was a pivotal moment because I mean, I've interviewed, you know, if you're into hip hop, you know, Jim Jones, like I have a good list Sauce Walker, but like Kevin Gates is like mainstream. Like he's one of those names where it's like if you know music, you probably have heard of Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
So that was a huge pivotal moment. I think people started really taking me more serious at that point. He's like, oh, he's not just interviewing local rappers anymore, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so what happened was I had gotten I think it was a call or text from a photographer, videographer out in LA, I want to say. And he's like, hey, I'm flying out to Denver for the Kevin Gates show at Red Rocks with OT, Mexican OT, and NLE Choppa. There's a couple artists on the bill. And so he reaches out. At first, I'm just like, all right, this is random. Like, is this real? Like, because I get messages like that all the time, and they're usually fake or just scammers or whatever. So, I talked to him. I'm like, oh, okay, this is real. And then I talked to Kevin Gates' manager. I'm like, oh, this is really real. This isn't, they're not playing with me. So, but when a move like that comes across the desk, you got to keep it quiet. You don't want to show your cards too soon and then it falls through. So I'm knowing this is coming up for a couple weeks, but it's kind of in my pocket. I'm just laying low until I can announce it and drop the interview and whatnot. So reaches out and I was like, okay, this is dope. Like we get a schedule, kind of looking forward to it. But I don't really believe it's going to happen until like I actually meet him and I'm there, right? So the show comes around and I met his manager first at Red Rocks. Very nice, sweet lady. Shout out to her. More media hits. Go follow her on Instagram. She gave me the wristbands, the media pass, everything at Red Rocks. And that was my first. I've had been to Red Rocks before for like workouts and stuff, but never for like a show.
Cool.
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
So that like just my first time going backstage, seeing everything, like it was just mind blowing.
I'm sure.
Like,
yeah, it's a beautiful venue. So like you had never been there before, and then your first or never been to a show there,
right.
And your first opportunity to do that is
backstage
is dope.
Yeah, it was a blessing. So I'm just kind of taking it all in. The crazy thing is there was a bunch of other media people there. So I'm like, oh, and I didn't know that until I got there. So I'm like, okay, they probably intentionally hit up a bunch of the media outlets here. So I'm like, wait until the show. Honestly, as I'm there, I'm kind of getting footage of him performing and stuff like that. I'm getting close. I'm networking with people, but I'm still not. You don't know if you're getting the interview still. It's kind of like they brought it up, but it's like I've been to so many shows where it doesn't happen, or he gets busy. He doesn't really care. It depends on the artist's mood. So I'm still kind of I'm just blessed to be there, and I'm like not 100% getting the interview. And then show ends. Manager's like, okay, go over here. It was like a press room, which was like the NBA or NFL. It was different because I'm used to one-on-one, kind of like this. And I'm like, okay, so this is happening. Like, so he comes in the room. Everyone gets a chance to ask questions. And I'm like one of the last people that gets to go. And it's funny because I was over prepared. I had like so many lists of questions, hoping to go as long as I can. Yeah. And but everyone was like asking the questions I already had, so I had to keep going down my list. And by the time the interview's done, I'm like, okay. First of all, very humble dude. Yeah. Like most people with that sort of stature, superstar, you would expect to be kind of like snobby or just kind of like. They're used to so much attention, like, who's this dude, They
don't want to give you the time of day.
Right. Yeah. But what was interesting about Kevin is, and especially, let's just call it what it is. I'm a white dude in hip hop. So yeah, that's, it's a blessing and a curse. People can kind of judge or look at me and kind of like, who's this white? You know what I'm saying? So. But he didn't do that. He didn't give me that vibe. He looked at my shoes and he kind of could tell like they weren't the cleanest shoes at the time. They were pretty beat up. But I think he looked at them and he was like, man, like this dude, there's something to this dude. Like he grinds, he works hard or
Mm,
something. It was like just some sort of energy I felt when because he respected me.
mm,
And he, again, he didn't shrug me off or anything. And he answered my questions cool. I was a little nervous, but he answered them cool. And then to wrap it up, I was like, man, I just interviewed Kevin Gates, but so did 10 other people. So how can I have the most impact?
mm,
So I was like, well, everyone else is probably already posting about it. Like they're posting the photos. They're not even worried about the interview content. So I'm like, I'm not even going to post that. I did the interview. Yeah, I'm not going to post the photos with Kevin that I just took. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to edit this interview out like now.
mm,
I'm going to post it before everyone else posts their interview. That way I can have the biggest impact, and it's competition at the end of the strategy. So pretty much that next morning, I want to say, or day, I posted the interview before all the other people had a chance to post theirs, and it just like had a huge impact. Like, and then I posted the photos and was like, okay, yeah, go watch and whatnot. So that was kind of how that all went down, and I still have a great relationship with his manager to this day. I actually did another interview with BG. If you're a hip hop fan, he's part of Cash Money. Birdman, Lil Wayne.
yeah.
So still building that relationship to this day. And man, yeah, so it's about who you know, and I'm just forever grateful for her, and that moment just meant a lot because it's like, yeah, it was like a 1-day thing, I guess, or a couple week thing, but it's like all the hard work after years and years of just like people doubting you, people saying, oh, you're not going to do this, or, just, I don't know, just like all that motivation and built up pain, like kind of culminated and I was finally able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, get over a mountain, I suppose. And I wasn't satisfied or done or, but it was just like, wow, this is working. Like this is paying off. Like,
Yeah.
wow, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was talking to you about this before the podcast, but entrepreneurship is hard, man.
Mm,
And so like, and it's not only hard because of all the things you have to do and the struggle, but it's hard because not everybody gets it and not
mm-mm.
everybody gets you. And so like they
Yeah,
don't. Yeah, they
yeah,
don't. And so, it's I don't know, sometimes you feel like it's lonely, like you feel like you're on this lonely path by yourself and you don't have somebody that shares those same struggles or,
right,
somebody you can communicate that to. And so
right.
when you get that little bit of success, it's not like you said you weren't satisfied, but it was like, damn, like I can do
It's
this.
working. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's cool, man. Um, talk to me about um like what the importance of building those relationships are, because it
Mhm.
sounds like that relationship with his manager has really helped you in other aspects. Have
Right.
you built some other strong relationships that have really helped you kind of start to take things to the next level?
Oh, yeah. Like I have a pretty good relationship with most hip hop media across the US. I mean, there's some I haven't met, but I've met the owner of Say Cheese. I'm supposed to be interviewing him here in a couple weeks. I've met Adam from No Jumper. We're not like close or anything, but I met
Yeah.
him. Bootleg Kev, like a lot of your big media figures, I've met and built relationships with, and we're able to kind of cross pollinate, and you know what I'm saying. So yeah, networking is important. I mean, that's how I land a lot of my interviews. Is artists be like, hey, I got this dude coming in town. You want to get him on your show? So yeah, I mean, networking is the way to go. I mean, when I had no network, it was hard. You had to do all the reaching out. Going back to your point or your question earlier, like once you grow that network, it starts coming to you a lot more. And yeah.
Yeah. You've got the platform and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of misconception with media. People
Right.
think like, I don't know, you get 50K followers on Instagram or whatever, and it's like easily it's monetized
Right.
quickly, and that's probably not the case. And I don't know that much about it because we don't have a huge social media platform.
Mhm.
I'm working on it, but I'm
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
there yet.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you started to monetize Mile High Minute, like when you started to do that, and when you're like, hey, like it's great, we're putting on for the city, we're doing stuff, but I got to make money. Like I
Right.
can't just help other people make money. I got to
Right.
start making money myself. How did you start to monetize Mile High Minute?
So initially, it was really just offshooting like music videos and stuff like that. And then what started happening after posting these artists for free was like, then like we'd post the talented artists for free, but then like other upcoming artists would be like, "Hey, I want to get posted." I'm like, "Well, $5." You know what I'm saying? Like $5 to get posted, and they're like, "Yeah, that seems fair." So that's how kind of how it started. Was like, all right, we're providing enough value to where people are actually willing to pay for the promotion now. I'm like, okay. So it kind of just slowly grows from there, and that's kind of how we monetized. And then YouTube came along, started making a little money on YouTube. But now, honestly, nowadays it's mostly like just promotion on social media. Like that's where most of it. TikTok, we monetize TikTok once you hit a certain amount of followers. Made a little bit on Instagram, Facebook, like all the different social media platforms. I'm still not all the way locked in, and I want to get better at that. But definitely like advertising space pretty much. And it's tough because it's like we still have to, we're a news platform, right? So we still have to post stories and post stuff for free, and like big artists making big moves. For example, Trevor Rich was just, his song was on Monday Night Football. So I've been
Sick.
pushing that for free. Like if it's worth talking about for free, like we're gonna post about it, you know. And you kind of have to balance that out with, okay, well, we need to make money too. We need to pay these bills. And it can be kind of tough in my industry or in the hip hop industry, because it's like there's a lot of expectations, or once you build a relationship, like sometimes people be like, oh, like, well, he's posting him for free, but not. So it's kind of like it's a tough battle, but and like you said earlier, no one really understands unless you're actually like have been in the space or been an entrepreneur or created a business. It's like, you know, this isn't, you got to pay the bills somehow. You can't just do all free stuff. But at the same time, like you gotta, I don't know how I want to say it. Like you got to be passionate. You can't just do it for the money, I suppose.
Mm.
Like if you just do it for the money, it's hard to burn out. And I think that's what I experienced in real estate a lot of times. So yeah.
Yeah. What would you say that like overarching purpose is for you with Mile High Minute? Because it sounds like it's hard. Like it's not the easiest thing to monetize right off the bat. You know,
Mm-mm.
like
Very
real
different.
estate, you probably can monetize a little bit quicker. It's not going to be as much of a slow grind if you really put your mind to it.
Right.
But for you to do what you do, there has to be a lot of purpose behind it. What is
Mhm.
that purpose?
I suppose initially it was just to build a business and become my own boss and generate wealth and not have to work a 9 to 5, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and not, that's not a bad thing at all,
Mhm.
but just be able to control my own schedule and make a lot of money. I think it's a lot easy. I don't want to say it's easy, but like it's more realistic to get rich off of building your own business than a 9 to 5, I suppose. Like rich, like
Yeah.
millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not doing what good, but
Hmm.
and so, but purpose has always been too, is like real purpose. Man, I can relate to a lot of these artists. Like I know I may not look like them, or that, you know, they may be coming from difficult backgrounds and whatnot, but like I grew up on government housing and stuff like
Mm.
that. So I relate to these artists, and I want them to be successful, and I want them to be able to focus on music and good stuff rather than like the BS in the streets and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of my purpose, is really, I know from the outside in, a lot of people probably don't understand, or they may look at it some other way, but like that's really my purpose, is to
Mhm.
kind of provide value for these artists, to help them focus on something that's more positive, and just I feel like I related in ways, and that's the purpose. And I really just want to get some plaques. Like I want to get some artists, help artists get go touring, you know,
Mhm.
mainstream, get some plaques. Like it just hasn't really happened in Denver like
Mhm.
that for hip hop artists. There's a couple, but that's kind of my overarching goal, is really just to be remembered as one of the people that really helped lay that foundation and help take artists' careers to that next level.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, I'm starting to do more sports too. Like I could see, maybe even more of like an athlete route too, of like helping them get recruited more or
Mhm.
whatnot. That's more like a little down the line or something, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool when that purpose like reaches things beyond you, you know. And I talk about this a lot too, but like getting that new car, getting that nice house or whatever it is, like it's a
Mhm.
feeling for a short period of time.
Right,
I think the feeling that lasts a lot longer is knowing that, hey, I made an impact. Like
right,
I helped this many people not, have to go struggle. Or I didn't just change their life, I changed their family's trajectory
right,
because their family was going to follow in their footsteps
right.
if I wasn't able to step in and help. And so I think that's cool that you've past that purpose beyond yourself. Because again, these people have to understand like you could probably make more money immediately going to do something else.
Oh yeah.
Because you're a driven individual, you're a hard worker, like you put the consistency elsewhere. And yeah, if it was just about you, you might have been able to make more money doing real estate or whatever the
Right.
case may be. But you're focused on a vision beyond yourself. And I think long term, that's gonna do a lot more for you, but it's also gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah. I like you bring that up because I always tell people like, because people will get on me like, oh, he's just. I mean, the thing to say about white people in hip hop is, oh, he's a culture vulture. He's
Yeah.
making all this money off of this culture. But I'm like, man, if I really was about the money, like solely about the money, I would just be doing real estate. Because I mean, I closed a couple nice deals. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
like, but it wasn't filling me. Like, like I wasn't. It was hard to get up every day and make thousands of phone calls and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And real estate, it was better than some things,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, man, it's like money's. Of course, I want to make a lot of money. Everyone does, but it just drives me crazy when people say that because I'm like, man, like if only y'all knew, like this isn't. It may look like a certain way on social media and whatnot, but it's really not. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, man, I feel that for sure. You said something earlier about like Denver hasn't really taken off yet.
mhm.
I'm sure you talk about this a lot, but why do you think that is with hip hop? Is like why is Denver not known like New York is or Cali is or
Right.
Atlanta? Uh, what do you think the big difference is there?
I think there's a lack of infrastructure is probably the main thing. I mean, you got major labels in those other cities, and they're bigger. You got bigger artists, stuff like that. I don't know, man. If I had the answer, we'd already be having a whole bunch of plaques and stuff, right? But um, from the research and from the work I've done, it's just there's just a lack of infrastructure. There's not enough hip hop media pages. And if there are, there's just not enough big ones. I feel like, to be 100% honest with you, sometimes I want it for an artist more than they want it for themselves, if
Mm,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Like, I see so much potential in an artist, and I'm like, man, if you just hit the right buttons, if you go out of state, if you figure out a way to do
Mm,
this, like you'll make it. But they won't even see it in themselves.
mm,
So I'm like, how can I want it for someone more than they want it for themselves? You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And I know I'm repeating that, but like I'm really trying to hit that one home because that is, I feel like a huge reason is just, but it's all kind of going back earlier. If anyone really has the drive and motivation to make it, they can. I mean, for
yeah.
example, Tag Team, they're from here. The Whoop, there it is. Crazy big '90s hit. They moved to Atlanta to get
Mm,
big. So like it's possible, but I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's
yeah.
a lot of answers, a lot of
Is that
questions.
yeah, yeah. Is that tough to manage? Like when like you're like, damn, this person has it all. They have the talent, they have the sound, like,
Right.
but they just aren't doing what they need to do. Like, does that bother you? Like, is that something that's hard to like kind of deal with? Because you're like, damn, like this person can put themselves on, but they could on like I could help them get there
Right.
and it'll help both of us.
Right.
But I have the drive and they don't. Like, I don't know. Does that make you lose sleep at night
Uh,
sometimes?
I wouldn't say like bugs me a lot
Yeah.
because I maybe more so at the beginning. As time went on, I guess I've gotten used to it,
Hmm.
and I've kind of just been like, well, if they don't get it, I'm gonna just go get it. I'm gonna just go out of state and do what I got to do. But no, it does. It is frustrating because like I'll see an artist who has the whole city behind them, and but they drop one video a year, or it's just like, man, like I know it's tough though. It's probably tough for artists, and I don't completely understand them, so I got to keep that in mind. But I'm just like, man, like if you guys just went out of state and just like networked with the right people, and it does kind of keep me up at night sometimes because I'm like, you just see the potential, and they sound better than like I listen to a lot of. They call AP's my favorite artist, like not even just in Denver, like I listen to him. If you go listen to him, like you can feel his energy, but it's just like, man, if they could just get out of state and just get out of here, like I think that's the main thing. Just get out of Colorado, like, like and visit. You can still live here, but just go be hungrier and be a little crazy, take those risks and stuff like that. And then I think, it does kind of keep me up at night because there's just so much potential, and it would help me out too. Like I always think about it, like I've interviewed so many artists out here that like they've gotten some buzz or, a little mainstream, but if they just took it all the way, that would change the trajectory, not even just for me, but for the whole hip hop scene. Like one artist breaks loose. I mean, look at any major city, there's a wave that comes after that, what I'm saying? I'm trying to think, like, I guess in recent-ish years, like, the Bay Area has been really popping, and you'll have, like, trying to think of an example. Detroit. We'll go Detroit. You'll have Babyface Ray or I Swear Vezo or something like that pop, and then it's like there's this whole wave of Real to Young OG, like just so many names. So I'm just like, how can that happen here? But another thing is too is the demographics, and Denver isn't like as big as some of those cities like New York, but we're bigger than like Atlanta. We're bigger than like Detroit.
And it's growing too. Yeah. Population's growing. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough to deal with when like I mean, I can only imagine.
I mean, you probably been around people where you're like, man, like I just see so much potential in you in this business, but it's like you're holding yourself back, or whatever. I mean, I struggle with that even outside of the hip hop, like, and people probably see it in me too. And I'm just like, man, I struggle with it myself. I'm like, man, I could be doing better. What am I doing right now? Watching football or like,
for sure.
Like,
No, man, it's tough you can't want something more for somebody than they want it for themselves.
Right.
And I think one of the most common things I see in this world in general is talented people that aren't doing anything with it.
Right.
And it's sad. It's sad to see. I hate to see a lot of talent that's just like, it's just kind of getting wasted. And and who am I to say what somebody should do with their life? I'm not going to tell, because also I was thinking about this last night actually. Like the grind is hard, so like, you can be happy and content and, work a 9 to 5 and not be as stressed out. So you got to kind of pick your poison.
That's very true.
You said, you've seen you see a lot of talent in Denver. Was there anyone early on that you worked with that you just knew like right off the bat that this person is going to grow their platform and they're going to get bigger? Like, was there anybody that you kind of saw that talent maybe before it had transpired into like a big platform?
Like Denver artists I've seen, man, there's so many, but one that recently sticks out to me is this dude, Matthias the Great. When I first met him, we did an interview, and at first I'm kind of like, I've done hundreds of interviews, so I'm kind of like, all right, it's just another interview, whatever. But he was so funny and like unique and interesting and catchy. I was like, man, there's something special about this dude. You know what I'm saying? And like, I loved his work ethic. He's someone that doesn't fall into the category I just brought up. He's someone's like the opposite. Like, he's going to go get it. He's been going out of state, going to Atlanta, connecting. And he's, and in the past year or two, like pretty quickly became one of the top like hip hop artists out here. So yeah, he's someone. I mean, there's so many. I mean, 100 Pack Savvy from Aurora, like when that was more early on in my career, like he did the I'm trying not AZZ cheeks on my Bape shirt. So and like that was doing really well in the clubs and stuff. Like the DJs were playing him.
Yeah.
So he's one that I seen early on. And I was like, oh yeah, he's got a lot of talent. Trey Funk the Don recently, he's been working hard. So there's been plenty of artists that I'm like, yeah, like I see the potential in, or I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, if they AP I brought up. Trev Rich was before me. Like he's already been, Cash Money, Madden, been making moves. He's wrote for like G-Eazy and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty. And that's the other thing too, is like our hip hop scene is so to the naked eye unknown that I could bring something up like that and the average person be like, what? Like, who's Trevor? Like, he's worked with G-Eazy. You know what I'm saying? But that's how like slept on we are. But I salute artists like that who went out of state and done their thing. So yeah, I would probably name those three if I had to name a couple that like I seen potential in and started to move.
And no, I recognize some of those names for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Like when you interviewed them or you talked to them, like I don't know what clicked for you, because it's clearly not just talent. Because I see a lot of talented people again
Right.
that don't end up doing anything
waste their
with it.
time.
Like, what do you think you saw in them that you were like, I know they can take this to the next level?
I think their ability to not give a F about what other people think.
Yeah.
To be honest, it takes a lot of that in entrepreneurship because, especially in the hip hop industry or media space, like when you're putting yourself out there, you're going to get judged, criticized. People are going to say what they're going to say. And what I saw in them was like, they didn't really care. Like they were just passionate about the music. They love what they're doing and they didn't care about what other people think. A lot of artists and entrepreneurs in general get caught up in this mind of like overthinking and worrying about what other people think. And I'd be lying if I said I still didn't. Like we all do, it's natural. But like that's kind of the main, I guess, one of the main things I noticed about them was like they didn't care too much. They're just doing what they love to do, and that's what I think helps take entrepreneurs a lot of times to that next level. And
yeah, I think it's hard to do, to like not care about what others think. But I see it holds so many people back, especially on social media. I think in any industry, especially as a young entrepreneur, you really need to be taking advantage of social media because one, it's free. You can get in front of a ton of people if you just, like you said, you're consistent and you actually care about what you post. But then there's always that overarching fear of like, are people going to judge me or whatever the case is? And so I think if you can get past that, you'll be able to reach success a lot quicker because you're not worrying about what everybody else is thinking. You're just worried about, hey, what's going to get me quicker to my goal?
Right.
And if that's all you're focused on, then you're going to get there a lot quicker.
Yeah, and you build a callus over time.
For sure.
I feel like it took me a while to kind of get to a point where I stopped worrying about what everyone's. I mean, I still do, too, but to a point where it's like I don't worry about every little comment or social media. I mean, like nowadays, like you could do the outside. I mean, it's important to do the outside marketing, put up billboards or stickers or whatever. But I mean, I still have business cards, but social media for sure is like way more important. I feel like nowadays you kind of have to. I mean, that's where I pretty much make all my money is social media marketing.
Yeah,
for the most part. I did make I made a sale a couple weeks ago off of a business card, which was kind of like just random thought. Just felt good because it was like I spent all this money on these business cards. I've been pushing out for years, and you don't really see the return, and then like out of nowhere it just happened. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Side note, anyways.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest difficulty has been with you growing this platform?
I'd say going off of what you were just saying is dealing with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. The highs are really high, and they feel so good and you feel like no one could stop you when I did the Kevin Gates interview, I'm like, I'm on top of the world, like,
Mm-hmm.
but then the lows come in and you see some crazy comments, or at least in my industry, that's kind of prevalent in hip hop media. You see some crazy comments, or you get some threats, or just, you see wild things, and it kind of can bring you down. You're like, man, can I deal with this stress? Like, sometimes I'm like, man, I'd rather almost just go work a 9 to 5 so I can shut off for some hours, because entrepreneurship's a grind, bro. Like, you never shut off. Like, you can try to, but realistically, there's always someone texting you about some business, or you know what I'm saying? There's always something to do. I never catch up.
Yeah.
Never. You probably feel the same. I never catch up on business. There's always, oh, I got this interview to edit. Oh, there's this promo I got to do. Oh, there's this new creative idea I got to work on. Like, it's never ending. Like, so that can really like take a toll on your mental and stress you out. So I'd say probably like that's the hardest thing I've dealt with, being an entrepreneur and whatnot. But it's like, I don't let myself down too long. I might have a day or a couple hours here and there, like Deion Sanders, like he would say, but I try not to let it affect me for too
Mhm.
long. And like, it never gets bad enough to where I'm like, I gotta quit or I gotta stop, or, like, it's like I'm still so passionate that it's like hard to let it go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, to answer the question, I would say, yeah, probably just working nonstop, I
Yeah.
guess, and dealing with the stresses that come with that. And then also just once you get to a point in business, which is a blessing, like I have so many inquiries and obligations to fulfill, like it's hard to keep up sometimes, and people kind of drive me crazy with that, and
Yeah.
they're always like, I don't know, like on my butt about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's hard when you got a lot of people that depend on you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that weight a lot with myself. It's like, yeah, I'll just be stressed out because at a certain point, it's not about me anymore. Like,
Right.
if I don't fulfill my responsibilities, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting my employees, it's
Mm-hmm.
affecting our customers. And so, yeah, it's hard to carry that weight. But I like what you said, because I think one of the biggest misconceptions I hear with entrepreneurship is like, people will tell me like, "Oh man, I want to get out of the rat race, the 9 to 5." I was like, brother, you're trading your 9 to 5 for a 24/7.
Right.
It doesn't shut off. You'll get calls at 2 a.m. And so,
Right.
um,
I'll be like in bed at 1 a.m. like hundreds of ideas just running through my brain, and I think I almost got like trained to be like that
yeah,
after years and years of like just being like that and working hard. And
yeah,
because initially I wasn't like that in high school, so
yeah,
like I was creative, but I didn't. I was shut off at a certain
yeah.
point. Now it's like there's no
It doesn't shut off. Yeah, it doesn't. It
yeah,
doesn't shut off.
yeah,
But and I don't want to say this like, because I don't want to talk people out of entrepreneurship, because it's been
right,
very rewarding for me.
right,
But you do learn to love it.
hmm
Like I think about what I'm doing, and with all the stress and all the hard work and the constant grind and stuff, I truthfully wouldn't trade it. I
right,
wouldn't trade it
right,
if I could. If somebody said, take me back 7 years when I first kind of started on this journey,
mm,
uh, no, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm sure that's the same for you.
100%, yeah,
You learn to love that struggle. Um, I, I follow you on social media, and I've known you for a long time.
right,
For the people that are listening, I
yeah,
actually went to high school with Brenton, so
right,
I've known Brenton for a long time. I know you're a big Kobe fan.
yeah,
Uh, um, Talk to me about, because I listen to Kobe too. Probably not nearly as much as you, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts, speeches, inspirational quotes, and I just, that mentality is different.
it gets good and bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
yeah, that
different.
mentality is different. Do you feel like that's really helped with your mentality, like your
Mm.
love for Kobe? And I don't know, has he really inspired you and changed you?
Yeah, I like that you asked that because no one's ever actually asked
Yeah.
me like on the podcast. So growing up, you know, first off, like my dad was a Lakers fan. He grew up in LA and stuff, so that's kind of how he kind of gravitated towards me. But he was like our generation's Jordan pretty much, and I just always listened to what he would say and like his mentality, and it would just almost too much to a fault in certain ways. Like sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm kind of I could be. Can I cuss or not? I feel like
You're good. You're good.
I'm kind of an asshole sometimes to a certain extent, and I feel like I kind of get that mentality from watching so much like Kobe and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, I've gotten a lot of my mindset and work ethic from him, and just watching how he moves, especially like funny, you know, like on the basketball court. Like I still like with my teammates and stuff, I feel like I can be kind of an asshole, and but you kind of need that too, some to a certain extent, especially if you want to get to that next level, you kind of have to have that like mentality of just of being a fierce competitor and just you know finding a balance of being competitive, but you know also humble and cool and chill and stuff too. But you got to be able to turn that on when you need to, and like the biggest thing I think I've took from Kobe is just being able to internalize the motivation. You know, I feel like when I first started entrepreneurship, I'd probably talk a lot more, and I was younger, and I'd probably be more outgoing and annoying, to be honest.
Mhm.
But like as I've gotten older, I've been able to really internalize the motivation, and like I'll see a comment or something said or hear something or something happens, and I'm like I'm just able to, you know what, I'm just gonna show them with my work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna respond to this person, you know, but I'm kind of crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like for example, like I'm finishing my bachelor's degree right now here at Metro, and like, am I gonna use it to get a job? Probably not. But like, I love to learn, and part of the reason I did it is because I remember a comment when I graduated from Front Range. Someone was like, "Oh, he's acting like he got a bachelor's degree from Front Range Community College."
Mm.
And I'm here years later. And that was 5 years ago. I'm still thinking about that
Mm.
comment as I'm about to graduate and get my bachelor's. Like it's little stuff like that. Like, and I'm probably not gonna say I'm not gonna come out and say anything about it, but like I internalize that,
Mm.
and I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to finish it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just little.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when before I made any money in real estate, people were laughing at me saying like, you know, oh, you know, he was selling clothes and now he's trying to do real estate. Like it's just like, and then I went and closed 3 deals. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, bro. Like I gotten a lot from Kobe. I guess
Yeah.
I'm getting like amped, like thinking
Yeah.
about it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what it is, bro. Like I gravitated towards his energy at an early age, and I think a lot of it had to do with, if I'm being 100% honest, like looking for a figure to kind of a male figure to kind of look up to and you know motivate me and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting deep.
Yeah. No,
But
no.
that's
Yeah.
real, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where all that came from, and I like that you asked that question though, because no one's really ever asked me about that, and it's kind of. I'm not gonna lie, like I never really cried when celebrities died, but when he did, I was pretty emotional about that.
Yeah.
I was pretty emotional about that.
Yeah. He's a phenomenal dude, man. And that's that's a good person to look to.
Mhm.
And I can tell you've taken on a lot of those characteristics.
Mhm.
Um, and I also like how you talked about, you know, I think there's a healthy balance with taking things personally,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need to, man. Like you
Yeah.
need to have like that drive of like, I just want to prove him wrong, you know. Like
Right.
I'm not gonna call him up and be like, hey, I did this, but mentally for me, it's like, um, you know, so I didn't do well in school.
Mhm.
I did terrible actually. Actually,
Yeah. That's
um,
surprising.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I just didn't do well
Yeah.
in school, and that was a big motivator for me. Like I remember
Mhm.
just thinking a lot of teachers didn't believe in me, and
Mhm.
a lot of people didn't believe in me, and so like I did kind of internalize that. And am I going to go call up the math teacher that
Right.
failed me? And
Right.
like no, I'm never going to do that. But for me, it is somewhat of a driving factor,
Mhm.
you know. And I think sometimes it's good to take things a little
Yeah.
personally, internalize it, and use that as a driving factor.
Man, the energy that can give you to propel you, like the ability of just not taking no for an answer. I mean, you got to be healthy about it
Yeah.
because, like, at a certain point, it's like, all right, dog, like,
Yeah.
this ain't working. But like, I wouldn't have been able to grow Mile High Minute to where it is today if I didn't internalize a lot of that built up frustration and just like, I guess, wanting to prove wrong or whatnot. And I mean, again, I told you my purpose earlier. So proving people wrong wasn't like the main reason, right? I don't think that is for any entrepreneur, but it helps. It's an energy boost. It really just, man, like I could go on for hours about that, man. Like it really, I feel like any entrepreneur goes through that. Like you're gonna get doubted. Like people are like, man, what is this dude talking about? Like he really thinks he's gonna build a media business and interview Kevin Gates or something. You know, like 7-8 years ago, I'm sure people were like, man, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like that helped me. That helped me like really get to that next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can tell you got some high goals for yourself, but a lot of people tell me like I want to be successful, but I feel like success is such a broad
Yeah,
term.
right.
For you and where you want to go, how would you define success?
At this point, just being able to be the best father I can be and lay that foundation for my son and lead him to be better than me ultimately and live a fruitful life. And when I probably have more kids, probably the same thing for them. And that's kind of my way of being, just showing him the way, just being an example. Like, hey, like I was able to do this while you were growing up, or, I built this to pass it down to you so you can, do whatever. I would say, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, getting some plaques. Like I really don't think I've made it in the music industry yet. Locally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've almost hit a ceiling out here, but nationally, until these artists start getting plaques or something, I haven't really made it, is kind of how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that would be successful, and just being passionate in whatever I do moving forward is like going to be the way I determine my success, and just being able to generate like wealth for my kids and everything. Like I know that's kind of just broadly speaking about a bunch of things, but that's pretty much it. Like how I would determine the success and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So
that's something I hear on this podcast often is like, I feel like everybody starts something selfishly to some extent. You want to start something because you want to make money or you want to create wealth. And then everybody else I've talked to on this podcast has kind of told me the same thing. Like, I just want to be a good man. Like I want to be a good leader. Like I want to make an impact. And I think it's cool to see that progression with somebody, like it starts off where it's just about you, and you can only take that so far. But when you can step out and just be like, hey, I just want people to remember me as somebody that did a good job, tried their hardest, was a good father. That'll take you a lot farther.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely selfishly at the beginning, it was like almost all about proving people wrong and, oh, I'm going to get rich. And I realized like, man, as long as you're passionate about what you're doing and you're just becoming a better version of yourself, that's really all that really matters. And I think I forgot to bring that up about Kobe's. Like he would always nail in on that, just becoming a better version of himself. Because we're all young. We all have made mistakes. When I was younger, I was more of just doing dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? And probably had a bigger ego and whatnot. But as I've gotten older, it's just like, and to tie it back into Mile High Minute, I'm also more conscious about what artists I'm promoting and what message they're promoting and stuff like that. I've gotten a lot more conscious about that. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely main goal at this point. Like when I was younger, like I could listen to a lot more gangster rap and stuff like that, especially in the gym. I still in the gym.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like if I'm in the car, I'm turn on some AP. Like I want to hear something deep, some lyrics, something that'll make me think. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, definitely.
Where do you want to take Mile High Minute in the next 3 to 5 years?
Hmm.
Like where is that vision heading for you?
It's a good question. Just Mile High Minute's gonna be a nationally known media brand. I feel like in this region, we've done a good job of like, okay, we're in the Mountain West. Pretty much the surrounding states, pretty well aware of Mile High Minute. If you're into hip hop and like popular culture and stuff like that. But the goal is like Mile High Minute needs to be up there with the Vlad TVs of the world, the Breakfast Clubs of the world. Like when you come to Denver, like you have to tap in with Mile High Minute, not just I'm not just getting respectfully, no, you know, like C-list and D-list artists, so like more A-list, more Kevin Gates type names. Like you have to tap in, you know, more locked in. We're building a studio right now, like just more professional. Yeah, like that's where I see Mile High Minute. I want to be able to hang some plaques on the walls, be more locked in with labels. Like I have relationships, but like more like that they will take the artists out here serious. I want to get back into real estate at some point, like as far as just like maybe owning some sort of like office or you know what I'm saying, like some sort of real estate, because I want to use those skills that I learned.
Yeah.
So I guess that's really no. I guess that is the goal of Mile High Minute right now. You know, just be innovative, be creative, and I'm ready to be done with school so I can focus on, so I could just really lock in and focus on it and grow the team. Pretty small team right now, so just grow that and be a national brand. You know, like yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. I can tell that's where you're headed, man. I know I've talked about this before, but and I think you know you were talking about this with Kevin Gates too. Like you can just tell when somebody's passionate, and like personally, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs.
Right.
I can tell when somebody says it and they're gonna do it, and when somebody says it and it's just words.
Right.
And for yeah. I mean, truthfully, I can tell. I hear it in your voice, and I can just tell you're gonna get there. It's just a matter of time, and you just got to keep doing what you're doing, and you're on the right track for it. I like to always close conversation off with this because I created this podcast for entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody, you know, that maybe just thinks they're too late to get started in entrepreneurship, or maybe just doesn't even think they're good enough to start a business, what's that one piece of advice you'd give a entrepreneur?
Be passionate. Love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you failed right there. Like there's gonna be moments you don't love it, and it's gonna be hard. That's every business. But if you don't like at least love the service you're providing or the people like, you gotta have some sort of passion or love. You know, if you're just kind of going through, like that's what the problem I felt at 9 to 5s. You know, and again, no disrespect, because like I've worked plenty of them. They're necessary. But like I would just be kind of nonchalant going through my day and just not really passionate about what I'm doing. So I'd say, yeah, if you're just passionate about making an impact, whether it be providing renewable energy or you know, what have you it is for you, or any sort of business idea, that's like the one piece I would say. And just as far as like, just don't overthink and worry about what other people think. Like it's so hard not to. Like I still to this day like have moments where I'm just like overly paranoid or just overly thinking about how people are looking at me or what they're saying or you know, whatever. But just don't overthink it and worry about what other people are saying, because 9 times out of the 10 the people that are saying stuff are usually just like self-reflecting and they're kind of hurt about what they got going on in the inside, you know, I almost don't even really, I almost feel bad, and I'm like, man, I hope they figure it out. But that's what I would say, man. Just love what you do, and be purpose driven, and don't overthink. Don't worry about what other people are saying and thinking and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good advice, Brenton. Well, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the
Yeah.
podcast. I learned a lot from you today, and again, I just look forward to continuing to see your success.
Thank you, man, and shout out to you for having me on. And I see the same vision, and I mean, pretty much since high school ended, like you've been grinding. So I see the entrepreneurship vision in you. You haven't given in, and I respect that. And I could tell you want it to. Like, I 100% agree with you on that statement when you said, like, you could tell, like, when someone really means it and they're passionate versus like just say it and
Yeah.
Thank you. Shout out CEO under 30. Make sure. Appreciate it. Yeah.